huge thanks to Turing for making today's conversation possible, and I'm very excited to welcome to the stage Turing CEO and founder, Jonathan Siddharth. Jonathan, welcome to the Axios stage. How are you? And this is your first trip to Davos, so welcome to Davos. Why don't you start big picture for us? Tell us a little bit about your background and Turing and what you're building there.
Thank you, Nick, for having me, and thank you, everyone, for joining us here. It's been super fun. This is my first year at Davos, and it's been energizing. So I'm Jonathan Siddharth, founder and CEO of Turing. So our mission at Turing is to accelerate superintelligence in a way that drives real economic progress. So we work with all the frontier AI labs and enterprises and governments to build powerful models. So we provide data to all the frontier AI labs to make the models more and more powerful. And then we work with enterprises and governments to actually build real AI systems that take advantage of these models. And in doing so, we discover capability gaps. We see where the models actually fail in production. And we translate that into insights and learnings to make the models more powerful. Then we solve even bigger problems with these models, see where the models fail, make the models more powerful. It's a loop. So we are a superintelligence accelerator.
So the last couple of years, like the huge conversation all over Davos has been AI, but there's been a bit of a gap between the way we talk about it on stage and in these sessions and then what we see happening in the real world. From your vantage point, like, why does that gap exist?
So 2025 was the year that AI mastered test taking, right? I mean, we've all seen AI winning math medals, coding competitions, passing the bar. 2026 is the year that AI is going to show up in the real world and actually do real work. The gap exists because what we have with these powerful models, including from Cohere, Aidan's going to be speaking after this. We are proud to work with Cohere as well. What we have is intelligence as an API, right? This powerful superintelligence as an API. But to have it solve real problems in the enterprise, there's a lot of engineering that needs to be done. You have to prepare the data the right way. You sometimes have to fine-tune the models on your proprietary data, distill your proprietary human intelligence into the models. You have to build the right workflows that amplify human productivity. There's a lot of first-mile engineering and last-mile engineering that needs to be done, and we do that at Turing. We do that by working with all of the frontier AI labs, and the true gap to unlocking the potential of these models in enterprise, it's data, engineering, and will. I mean, it's great to see leaders here from governments and enterprises who hopefully have the will to actually deploy these systems to make humans 100x more productive. If you put that together, we'll have real economic progress that could move the GDP of the world.
You touched a little bit on, I think, what that gap is, where we talk about like, oh, this hit this benchmark or it solved this crazy math equation. Like, that's not what a business does. And you touched on this a little bit. Like the ones who will win, the companies that will win will be the ones who devote then the engineering to it. It's not something you just take out of a box and run. Like, and how do you counsel companies to do the extra work to that?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Nick. Today, we've moved on from benchmarks. Nobody cares about benchmarks anymore. I mean, I'm being a little facetious. The benchmarks are kind of nice for chest thumping to kind of see, oh, our models are great in this benchmark and the other. But I'm in a unique vantage point where we work with all of the frontier AI labs, and every lab cares about driving real economic progress in real enterprise workflows. That's what everybody cares about. And it just requires deploying these systems carefully and learning from feedback.
Why is the enterprise like the real frontier here, like the proving ground for that? Like, why, like, you devote your time to that? Why do you think it is so important?
So if you think about how LLMs are trained, they've eaten up all of the knowledge in the world. We've fed them the internet, we've fed them all the books that they could use, both for pre-training and in post-training. Typically, these models are trained with human contractors. What's missing is enterprise context and enterprise data. That's why they haven't quite made a dent in real enterprise workflows. So how many of you in the audience do your work in front of a computer where you look at a computer, think about the goals that you're trying to achieve, use different tools, use a keyboard and a mouse. Hopefully almost all of you, right? Now, how many of you have written a blog post that talks about exactly what you do in front of a computer? Almost nobody, right? Why would you do that? I haven't done that. So there is that missing knowledge that the models haven't seen, and it's only by deploying these systems in the enterprise with the humans in this room using these models to do real work, that's how they'll improve.
Just because a LLM read a bunch of novels in Moby Dick doesn't mean it's going to know how to run a computer software system for enterprise.
That's exactly right. The models have to touch reality. They have to collide with reality. I'm excited about a future, Nick, where humans are 100x more productive, right? What would the world look like with 8 billion humans that are 100x more productive? If I'm 100x more productive, maybe I'm not just running one company, Turing, I'm running 100 companies. Elon might be running 600 companies or 700 companies.
What separates the companies that figure this out and win and the companies that don't?
Will from the top, like government leaders, enterprise C-suite, have to deploy these systems. It's only by deploying it incrementally, slowly, iteratively, that we can make these systems safe and useful, right? We don't want superintelligence to be like a singularity event where suddenly there was nothing and suddenly you have God, right? We want to slowly build up there. So what will separate companies is their will to deploy. And at Turing, we work with some of the largest banks, some of the largest life science companies. There's lots and lots of problems we can solve with these models. So just try them out, and you have to be willing to do the first mile and last mile engineering yourself to actually derive value, or work with companies like Turing to help unlock the value of these models. There's significant model capability overhang today. The models are capable of X, but we extract X minus delta of value.
Before we get the hook here and bring Ina back on stage, I want to take a step back and zoom out and ask you a very Davos kind of question about it. If this works, or when this works, who captures that benefit? What is the upside potential if we solve for these last mile issues that you talk about?
So who captures value today could be different from who captures value in the future. Today, the folks capturing value fall into 3 levels. There are folks that are inputs to AGI, like companies like Turing that provide data, companies like NVIDIA, AMD that make chips, energy companies that provide energy. Those are inputs to AGI. Second, it's the model builders, right? And Turing works with all the frontier AI labs. Third, it's the application layer companies, and the folks that are building real-world systems on top of these models. You may have intelligence as an API, but somebody has to. You may have the engine, but somebody has to build a car and the roads for the car to drive on. So it's folks operating at that application layer. I think it's too early to see who benefits, who captures value really long term. I'm an optimist, that every human in this room, every human on the planet benefits from being 100x more productive. Think about what you do day to day, and think about how many more problems you could solve if you were 100x more productive. Could we solve climate change? Could we cure diseases? Could we go to Mars? Probably.
That's a perfect answer for your first time at Davos. Jonathan, thank you so much for being here today. Huge thanks to Turing for making this conversation possible.